everyone, welcome to the show. My name is Amanda Ostrander. I am a teacher-turned-homeschool mom, and this is Raising A to Z, a YouTube channel all about homeschooling. And today I'm going to be doing a review of a math program that we've been using because everyone wants to see what math program I'm using. So today I'm going to be doing a review of Masterbooks Math Lessons for Living Education. I get asked what curriculum I'm using quite often. I get asked a lot, especially on Instagram when I post pictures of us like doing our schoolwork in the morning and stuff. I get a lot of like DMs of like, hey, what math program is that? What language program is that? What are you doing with this? And so I thought I would share over the next couple of weeks a few different resources that I use routinely in my homeschooling and kind of share them with you. So today I'm going to talk specifically about the math program that we're using. So like I said earlier, we have been using Math for Living Education. It is by Masterbooks, which is a Christian curriculum company. They do have like a language arts program. I've never used it, but I found their math program online a couple of years ago. It was on sale on Amazon. They were clearing out something and I ended up grabbing it on sale because it really filled a need that I had. Where we live in Ontario, kids typically do kindergarten for 2 years. So there's a junior kindergarten and a senior kindergarten. And so I was finding a lot of kindergarten workbooks out there, and that's great. But I was finding when I did them with my junior kindergartner that by the end, they were ready to move on to something a little bit more, but there weren't a lot of programs that were kind of like a next step up. And I was finding there was a big jump in a lot of programs from the kindergarten to the grade 1. And so I was looking for something that would be kind of a little bit more gentle, kind of a stepping stone between kind of just gently ramping up between the kindergarten, which for a lot of places and a lot of the workbooks that we were using were things like just numbers to 10, shapes, colors, simple patterns. That was pretty much the whole context. And then I was finding a lot of like grade 1 books were doing like, oh, we're going to start adding and we're going to start doing all these things. And the kids just weren't, there was like adding and money and time. And I was finding that it was just a little bit too much. Like it was too much of a jump. Word problems, like it was just jumping too much. And so I was looking for a program that would kind of like gently ease us through kindergarten into grade 1. And that's when I found Masterbooks. And I'm going to talk a little bit about it. I'm going to share the pros and the cons, why we like it, reasons why you might not. And that's okay. Like, I'm not here to tell you this is the best math program in the entire world. You must use it. I'm just going to show you what the book is like, how it works for us, and let you make a decision from there because every family is different and everyone has different unique needs. So we've been using it. Alexi's done level 1, 2, and she's now on level 3 because she did grade 1, their grade 1 book in senior kindergarten. So even though she's in grade 2, she's now doing grade 3. Zoe started with kindergarten last year. And so she's on, again, same kind of trajectory. She's doing the grade 1 in senior kindergarten and doing it quite well. So anyway, about Masterbooks and about Math for Living Education. So Math for Living Education is very much a Charlotte Mason style workbook. They follow, it's a very gentle, very story-based, literature-based math program. It has a very gentle approach. So it's not about doing it 15 times or 20 times, doing the math problem again and again and again. It's not overwhelming. It's a very gentle approach. It is a Christian program. If you are not Christian, this is probably not going to be the program for you. I did not find the first and second year overly religious. As it's getting older, I find it's getting more and more religious. That's neither here nor there for us because we are Christians who homeschool. So that doesn't really bother us. But if that is something that you are wanting to avoid, might not be the option for you. However, I do find a lot of the religious material is in the stories. So if you want to skip the stories and just use the workbook aspect of it, you can do that. And then it becomes very, very secular. The pros, let's start with the reason why I like these books. So one of the reasons why we love this is because it's really inexpensive. Math programs tend to be some of the most expensive curriculum out there. This one retails for $60 approximately Canadian, and it is a full math program. So it has everything you need in a math program all in one book for 60 bucks. The only program that I found that is less expensive would be Jump Math, which retails around $25 to $30. But for that one, it has no teacher's manual, so there's no instruction included. It's just the workbooks. This one, you don't need a teacher's manual because all the stories have all the explanations, and it's like a built-in explanations of how to do everything right within the workbook section. It does not need any extra manipulatives. It encourages you to use manipulatives you have on hand, so you're not buying things like blocks and counters and all of those things that can really jump up the price of a math program. It's not necessary. There's no DVD or online component, which again jumps up the price. So like, for example, all the like counter sheets, multiplication charts. This is the grade 3, facts, copy work, like all of this stuff is in here. Place value, that's a big thing in the first couple of years, is place value. So, and these, you can either laminate them if you have a laminator, which if you're planning on homeschooling for a long time, I highly recommend. But if you don't have a laminator, you can easily put these in kind of like a plastic paper page protector and use them that way. And once you get into like the more advanced stuff, there is like your answer key is at the back. This is Alexi's grade 3. It has all the solutions at the back of the book. Zoe's does not have any solutions because I'm hoping you can identify your numbers and letters and shapes. So yeah, anyway, but this has all the solutions in the back. So really it is for 60 bucks. It has everything you need built right in, and that's fantastic price for what it is. Another reason why I love Masterbooks over some other programs is it's spiraled. I have a whole video on spiraled versus mastery. I'll put a link up here. But basically spiraled means that you kind of come back to concepts again and again and again throughout the progression of the book. Whereas mastery is you work on one thing until you've mastered it and mastered it completely. And then you move on to another topic and you might never come back to that topic again. So an example of that would be something like Math UC, where for example, I was looking at that program and it was one of the levels, I think it's beta, is almost exclusively subtraction and addition. And so you go from subtracting single numbers and adding single numbers to double to triple additions to carrying to working with integer. That's all you do for the whole year is just almost exclusively adding and subtracting. This program is not that. This is very, very spiraled. Concepts come back again and again and again. And so it's kind of nice because your kids don't tend to forget. Or if they do, they get these little refreshers throughout the year. So I'm a big fan of Spiral. I think it's really great for kids who have learning disabilities of any kind or attention issues, because the things do come back again. So that is one of the reasons why I do love the Masterbooks Math for Living Education. I also love it because it's very, very gentle. By gentle, I mean the kids are not doing an excessive amount of work every single day. So it does come with a schedule. You don't have to follow it if you don't want to. Their schedule is recommended on 30 minutes a day, which I've never had a lesson take 30 minutes, 5 days a week, and that would get you completely covered in 36 weeks. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to, but it does also, that's kind of nice. It does have the grading. So if you need to report, it's built right into the book. I just kind of continue through, we do it and just keep going, right? So I'm going to show you how a lesson breaks down for Alexi grade 3. So your first lesson would be a story. I find the stories can be very unnecessary. We rarely read the stories, being honest, but basically first your day 1 breaks down with a story. Story still is the green pages. Day 1, you have some addition problems here. She's got a word problem, a little story down here, and that's it. That's day 1, story and this. Day 2, we have some tally marks And then just a few problems. So we have put in the missing sign, complete these problems, and then copy work. Because it is Charlotte Mason based, there is copy work. So that is really, really nice. So we do get to work on things like printing our numbers. Her book does include like writing words and stuff. So like days of the week, months of the year, those kinds of copy work words. It's awesome. So there is copy work built right into the program. So this is day 2. We have 2 pages for grade 3. Day 3 is 1 page. We have some addition work up here. We have some copy work. Day 4, we have some tally mark work, a couple word problems. That's it, 1 page. Day 5 has an activity, or it's a 1 more page of work. That is kind of like your typical week. It kind of follows that pattern. Day 1 is story and 1 page. Day 2 is maybe a little more intensive. Day 3 is a little more relaxed. Day 4 is a little bit more intensive. Day 5 is a little more relaxed. So it's not a lot of work. It's not too many questions on a page, which I do know some kids find very overwhelming, especially if they're struggling. It makes it very gentle. It's very relaxed. It's not overwhelming. It's not 50 questions on a page, which I do see in some like grade 3 workbooks that you're seeing 20, 30 questions on a page. That's a lot. That's a lot. And it looks overwhelming. You don't have that in Masterbooks. And then lastly, I think we can all agree these are beautiful books and they're colorful, which my kids love. They love looking at the pictures of these books. They love doing the different activities that are in the books. They like that they're colorful, that it's not just black and white stuff all the time. Especially, let me find Zoe's book. Like Zoe's book here. So here she's got some like addition coloring activities. There's those kinds of activities. So we have things like this, counting activities that are really colorful. And again, copy work. So we have copying numbers, and we're starting to get into, this is about halfway through the book, printing and tracing words. So it is a colorful book. They're really pretty. They have a story, which if you want to use the story, it's great. The stories build from level to level, but you don't need to know the story previous to do the next level. So that is why I like these books. They're spiraled. They're all inclusive. They're really affordable, and they are just fun to do. My kids get really excited about the pictures on the front. They always like try to guess what animal they get next, which I think is funny because Alexi knows what animal Zoe's going to get because she's already done them. That's why I like it. So I like to give an honest and balanced review. So I'm going to give you the cons because no program is perfect. And I think some people just need to know. Cons. It is not a mastery program. So some parents really, really, really want that mastery program. This is not going to be it. If you want something very rigid and you want something very, very structured and very mastery based, this is not going to be it. And even saying that, sometimes if your kids are struggling with a topic, you might have to supplement outside of the book. So for example, Alexi was struggling a little bit with carrying. I did have to get some extra, like do some work on a whiteboard and skip doing this for a day and just do some work on the whiteboard with her, or print off some like free sheets off online. So sometimes I have heard that from other people, that sometimes if there's a specific topic their kids struggle and might need a little extra practice, you'll have to supplement because, like I said, because it's gentle, there's not an overabundance of practice work. But if you need the extra practice work, it's not in here. So that's just something to keep in mind. I find a lot of free stuff online, so I don't find it too difficult. But some people don't want that. They don't want to have to supplement. They would much rather just cross off extra questions than have to go look for them when they need them. If you want something mastery or your kid needs a lot of extra help in certain topics, either bump down or, for example, you might have to supplement. Just the way it is. The other thing that I find a little bit of a con, which is kind of ironic because that's one of the selling points of the book, is the stories. Personally, I find the stories a little annoying. We almost never do the story itself because the story I find it not necessary. It's like, which is kind of cool. Like, you don't have to do the story and you definitely can just do the worksheets. The stories take you through these two kids, Charlotte and Charlie, and they are twins and they're learning about life. and every story introduces like a mathematical concept to their life, and they're using whatever they're doing in their real life. Some kids are gonna love that. My kids just find it long and kind of tedious. So we personally don't do the stories, and I'm still getting a full use of this book. You can take that how you want it. I will also say that the stories is where all the Christian elements are. So if you're skipping the stories, there's very little God in these books. Like the story is where all the religious curriculum is. So there's that. We're not hardcore Charlotte Mason homeschoolers, but if you were a hardcore Charlotte Mason homeschooler, the stories are what you're living for, right? So that's a selling point for someone like that. For me, it's just it's a little bonus when you need it, but it's not necessary. It does have some extra activities you need to be prepared for, and it does discuss that at the front of the book, where it has like the supply lists and stuff like that, supply lists and grading and scheduling, all that stuff at the front of the book. One of the activities that they do, particularly in the level 1 and the level 2, are these like right-brained math fact cards, where you'd go like 2 + 4 = 6, and you'd make like a card, but you make it into a story. I think we did 2 or 3 of them, and I was over it. I find them a little annoying, again, a little bit annoying, but you don't have to do them. That's the nice thing. It's not in the curriculum. Sometimes it says, do your facts, do a right brain card for this number or these numbers. I didn't do those. We would just do like math fact review instead. Not a big deal. But yeah, that was one activity that I just could not get my brain around and did not enjoy. Alexi didn't really enjoy it either. She found it annoying. So the other thing that you have to know about Masterbooks is that it is American. So as a Canadian, there are some things I do have to supplement. Some things I don't mind. Like up to level 1, I haven't supplemented anything. Level 2, we start to get into money more. So I did pull a unit and did a separate unit on money with Alexi and skip that chapter or 2, because American money and Canadian money look so different. So that was very confusing for her. And if we ever come across American money, I do help her like write down what the number is, because our money looks so different. So that is something I've supplemented. I also don't really do the volume stuff. Is something that I will supplement this year with Lexi. So like milliliters versus like ounces and pints and stuff like that. That's not a thing we do here in Canada. Sorry, Americans. We use the metric system. So I do those things separate. Again, I find it really easy to find those kind of activities online, so it doesn't really bother me. But if you are looking for a book and you don't want to do any kind of supplementing, that's just something to be aware of. And then lastly, my personal annoyance with any math program, and actually just curriculum in general, is when curriculum only goes up to a certain grade. So I'm hoping that this will continue, but currently Masterbooks only goes up to grade 6 or level 6. I'm hoping that they will continue and do something beyond that. Otherwise, I'm like, Alexi's gonna finish this year, so I've got like 3 more years before I have to find a new program. I have looked at changing programs just out of the simplicity of looking for one that would be continuous all the way through, but Alexi really likes it and Zoe really likes it. So at this point, I'm just gonna stick with it until we finish. Yeah, until they don't make any more. Maybe by then they'll have made a grade 7 and 8 or maybe even beyond. But for now, this is what we're using. My kids love it. And I hope that's a really good review of Masterbooks, Math for Living Education. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe and click the bell. And then if you want to see how we're using these great workbooks in our daily lives, make sure you're following us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.